Arkham.
Well, doesn't it excite you? The Timon Negru has revived. The Great One, who once ruled this earth as the medium between the human world and the demon world. Isn't it a magnificent view? The greatest minds of their time, those who revered evil, constructed this glorious edifice. Now, after 2 millenniums of confinement, it can at last fulfill the purpose for which it was intended.
That's none of my concern. Did he have it?
Of course. He's taking good care of it. After all, it is the only memento left from the mother you both lost.
But he has no idea of its true power.
I found it.
And welcome back to part 2 of Devil May Cry 3. Today we're going to be entering that tower and start our exploration journey throughout it, but now we're going to swap the Swordmaster and show off a few more skills, but firstly I'm getting Stinger level 2. You can get Air Hike and Drive as well. Drive I probably won't get straight away because I don't use it that much, but Air Hike I want to get as soon as possible, so then I can actually, you know, get everything. Because there's a few items and a few blue orb fragments that are very difficult to get without it. These enemies are the first enemies of a bunch that are a little more on the annoying side. Like, it's kind of half and half in this game, what enemies I like and what enemies I don't. Like, I think that's one of the big things 4 has over this one, is that 4 has is a much better variety of enemies I like compared to ones I don't. Like, this game has a bigger variety of enemies, period, compared to 4. But it's kind of half and half. Like, those enemies, I don't mind them on the easy difficulties, but on the harder difficulties, they just will not stop shooting at you. They're supposed to be the ranged adversary you shoot at, but you've already got those detonating bomb demons, these guys. So I feel like they're a little pointless. They're just a ranged attacker that ruin your day. Especially on hard and above, where a little later on, they will start having red shots as well. And the red shots do a lot more damage, come at you much more ferociously, are much more accurate, and in general harder to stun lock them out of shooting it. But we will also be getting more new weapons today, because we won't just be rocking Rebellion, Nebby and Ivory for the whole duration. This isn't DMC2. Because that's the thing, none of the new weapons we're getting are just straight up upgrades to other weapons. Every single weapon is different and unique in its own way, which is what I like, because even 1 dived into that a little bit, with Alistair being a straight up upgrade of Force Edge. And Spada technically being an upgrade, just no Devil Trigger, so it wasn't very attractive to use. Or DMC2, where literally every weapon was either an upgrade or a downgrade of what you're used to. But in here, first of all, if you whack this jukebox, do you hear that? That's a DMC1 reference to the first battle theme of Devil May Cry 1. When you're fighting the puppets, that's a nice little musical nod, because this game was made on the same engine, so I guess it makes sense that they would use the opportunity at the time to tag things along. But if you break back here, these are back from DMC1. Well, the way they're structured is back from DMC1. It's not the weird orbs from 2. But over here we get the famous shotgun, and like DMC2, you can swap your ranged weapon on the tap of a button, but you can only have 2 equipped at one time. And that's because when we get a physical weapon, they've made it so you can do it with your physical weapons as well. So it's just a little bit of their way of balancing it out, making it so you can't be too overpowered. But being able to double down on 2 physical weapons as well, 2 devil arms, is what makes DMC3 the juggernaut it really is. And it's taken to its logical extreme in 4, and we're even more so with what we've heard from 5. These enemies, they like to teleport around. They're called the Hells. These like these family of enemies. This one, I believe, Sloth. And I always forget the name of all of them. Like I know these ones are the teleporting ones. Later on, we'll have ones that will like charge up and shoot like these sand blocks at us. There's a few other little variants, but yeah. And these guys do have more health than the ones you're used to. Like these guys, the basic Reapers. I love those little shits. They're so pathetic, but they never live one combo unless you're on DMD. But now we have Stinger, we have a little bit more options, and with Swordmaster we can flip them up with Prop and Shredder. You tap circle once, you'll prop them. If you keep tapping it, Dante will go back over himself for Shredder. So I'm just getting into it a little bit. I do get lost a little into myself with the gameplay and combat because it's just so fun. This game's amazing. Crazy? I can best describe this whole game. The nickname for this genre, this subgenre, is Crazy Style. It's such an apt nickname. Also, in this section alone, there's 3 fragments. And don't worry, don't believe that DMC2 bullshit where they just straight up give you a blue orb because there's no space. They did actually consider where everything should be, and they are nicely spaced out. It's just that we haven't, because of the one room effect that we've had so far, they haven't had any space for the first 2 missions. So they're quite generous with them here. But you'd be forgiven on your first run through for only spotting one of them, the one that's obvious there to highlight that these exist. But over here there's also a red orb crystal, back from 1's design and not just a weird stone thing like it was in 2. You can beat it up for a limited amount of time and then it will smash, and whatever red orbs you got at the time is what you keep. Additionally, up here there's a green orb. Before most bosses there'll be a secret green orb place because there is a green orb up ahead. These are a combo statue. Your combo rating has to reach a certain point before it will smash and give you the fragment. The colour of the flames coming off it tell you what weapon you have to use only to get it. You can't use guns and you can't use other devil arms. You can only use one. Through this door is the first secret mission. Defeat all the enemies within the time limit. Simple but effective. All that like knockoff Bloody Palace from 2 is gone. Every secret mission is like 1 in the sense of there will be a unique objective it'll ask you to do. Some of them are fun and unique and special, some of them are really frustrating, but it's just a run of the course. This one I thoroughly enjoy because it's just straight to the point. You got a time limit, kill everything. You should have plenty of time, so don't worry about it. Like if you run out of time, you can try it as many times as you want. There's no one and done deal. That they only did that once in DMC1. But you do notice I will be playing just a little bit more aggressive, like with more stingers and shotgun blasts and whatnot, and finisher attacks like that, because you got the combo builders and the finishers. The finishing attacks always do just a little bit more damage. Also, there's little techniques like that you might have noticed when the enemy was falling down, because I was at point blank. When I tapped the attack button once, he kicked it instead of doing his usual strike. Additionally, if an enemy is flat down on its back, you can jump on its back and ride it around shooting in circles, so you've seen me do a couple times, which is pretty cool. And up here is the 3rd fragment. Now we only need 1 more to get off a first blue orb. And over here is a divinity statue, a returning from the whole series, where you can use to upgrade yourself or buy anything you need. Since we've got enough, I think I'm going to up my health a little bit, give us a bit of comfortability and range against our first boss fight. Which is a bit infamous in the DMC crowd because of how difficult it is for newcomers.
Leave now, mortal! The likes of you are forbidden in this land! You are powerless, but not worthy to set foot here.
Wow. I've never seen a talking mud before. You know, in a dog show, you'd definitely take first place.
You ugly human make a mockery of me?
Easy, Fido. How about I take you out for a walk? Come on, puppy. Let's go.
You will regret this, you worm!
It's showtime. Come on.
Cerberus is a great opening boss in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Phantom in 1, and I love the opening boss Burial in 4, but Cerberus just, he has a little special spot for me in my heart. I don't know if this has always been the strategy, but it's just always been what I've done. I shoot off all the ice on his faces and his arms. His arms are the bit I'm unsure about whether you should be destroying them or not. I've just always done them. And then you just crack on whacking his face. Just be wary of his attacks. His heads can rotate. They're chained kind of hides and highlights that his heads can rotate round. Depending on what head is in the center will dictate what attacks you'll have available to him. So keep that in mind and pay attention to what head does what. If you hit it enough, he will stun over like this and allow you to really get involved with the fight. And this is probably around the time you'll notice that your guns do next to nothing in this game. But with Swordmaster, you can make this fight a hell of a lot easier on yourself because your alternate attack allows Dante to actually swing instead of just slamming down as his aerial attack. You actually get to make it like your own air combo. Making getting up to Cerberus's head so allows the beat down with these are far easier than before. Just make sure you finish it with the slam down to make the most of it. That attack can be very annoying to dodge because you need to roll out of it, but if I end up usually getting caught in a position where it's unwise, because if he decides to do a claw immediately afterwards, you'll get caught. So it's better to just dodge back and then take the claw, because it does slightly less damage from the ice. But he's nearly dead now already. The HP bar is at the bottom of the screen, where it will stay now for the rest of the franchise. Because in DMC1 it went above your own HP, which is weird. Because if you roll to the side, you have a much easier time evading it. Also, each head only takes up about a third of the full HP, so when you do enough damage, it will destroy. Whatever head you destroy last will be the head that you... Ow! Alright, I'm gonna have to concentrate a little bit. Whatever head you destroy last is what you'll have to is what you'll see in the final cutscene of this fight. Because there is a finishing cutscene as well. And unlike DMC1, there's no proper, like, free timer charm boss fights. You only fight them one more time, and that's right near the end.
Who knows? I'm not even sure myself.
Regardless, you have proved your strength. I acknowledge your ability. Take my soul and go forth. You have my blessing.
And we now have the weapon of the same name, Cerberus, a 3-piece nunchuck. And I'm going to show you now, you can use your physical weapon whenever you want. And now on the tab of R2, you can swap to your alternate physical weapon. You're only allowed 2 devil arms on at one time. But Cerberus is a strong weapon that I'll be keeping with me for a good while. I will be using every weapon at least once, so Cerberus will get swapped out a fair amount of time because Rebellion is sort of my safety blanket weapon. But we got another cutscene, so I'm going to have to shut up again.
Are you going to the party? What's the hurry? Didn't you get an invitation? This just keeps getting better and better.
Looks like we have an uninvited guest.
Is that so?
A human. A woman.
I'm afraid I should ask the uninvited one to leave. If that is what you want. Actually, I happen to be acquainted with that woman. A storm is approaching.
I wonder who that mysterious lady was. We saw her at the start of the mission use her motorbike to burn up a bunch of demons. Those demons fell apart to become the shape of a 3, so there's your 3 for mission 3. The 4 for mission 4 will be in the up and coming cutscene, even though I probably would have played it before just for the sake of editing consistency for you guys, and because I've only got so much talking space the PS4 recording system will give me. But if you're looking for it, it will be like right at the start of the cutscene. There's a 4 on like a little banner. Like it's been cut apart to make the shape of like a diagonal shaped 4. But it should be easy to find. Anyway, that was Virgil anyway. I don't know how well that would have come through. But hopefully that wouldn't seem too awkward on the edit for you guys. But now we've got Gunslinger to show off. And we still haven't got enough for Air Hike. Windmill's alright, but you're fine. I was debating myself, so do I wait it out to get Air Hike or do I just get that now? Because that is a nice attack to use. But let's get a crack on with mission 4, the uninvited one. Find the key to the stairs. Also, yeah, the missions aren't weird riddles that they were in 2. They're back to how they were in 1, where they're kind of just, this is what you need to be doing to complete this mission. And for anyone who missed the explorative side of DMC1, rejoice, we're here. With Gunslinger, you can charge up your shots by holding down square, so the whole hold down the fire from 2 has been abandoned, thank God. And also, when you use the circle or B button to shoot with Ebony and Ivory, you can shoot in several different directions, using both your guns individually. And if you use the shotgun, you juggle it, which is cool. If you do it in the air, you'll Rainstorm, which is a nice attack that Dante kinda used in 2, but it didn't get its identity the way it has here. And it was actually the style I used predominantly on my blind playthrough way back when on DMC3. I used it for most of the game, as I only adopted Swordmaster after I played 4 and realised just how damn good it is. And then I came back to 3 and started learning the other styles a lot more because I love 3. Don't get me wrong, I have a soft spot for 4 and I've really grown to appreciate it more over the years. But nothing beats 3 in my opinion. Other than gameplay, 4's gameplay is a little better. And just like DMC 1 and 2 to an extent, but 2 I don't think did it as often off memory. But 2 has already faded quite heavily off my memory, which is kind of bad. But there will be enemy rooms where it will lock you in until you've killed all the foes inside. And now you get to see more of what those enemies do, where they kind of just shoot at you. Hopefully I don't get shot up too much, but they can be annoying. Especially because we don't have a good stunning weapon yet. There's a ranged weapon we're getting significantly later on that's really good at just stun locking them to stop them from shooting at you, and makes a secret mission that we'll be doing a little later on an absolute joke. But I'll still be doing it now. There's only one secret mission I won't be doing in this game. There's only one thing I won't be doing, and that's just because the sheer difficulty to do it at the equipment you have when you get to it. No, I don't personally see how it can be done without wasting a shit ton of time, so I decided against doing it, and I'll instead show it in a bonus part at some point. Because there's equipment you get post that secret mission that make that mission a hell of a lot more manageable to do, and I can't help but feel like it was intended for you to use said equipment to get it. Which, if it is, it's a bit annoying that you physically can't have the equipment at that point. You have to go back to get it, but it is what it is. We got more of these ranged guys in here as well. Once you deal with the first lot, more spawn in, so it's not over immediately. Thankfully, this is only apparent in the main game. They don't do what they do in Devil May Cry 2's Bloody Palace, where you'll face multiple waves of enemy before it counts it as an end of one floor, making that take several hours to do and really bloody drag. In DMC3 onwards, all the enemies you see at the start is what you have, unless they're on the like a time limit sort of thing, where like if there's going to be a lot of several waves, it'll based on a time sort of thing, where after 30 seconds the next batch will spawn in, so you don't have to worry about it being straight up wave by wave. They will all come in one after another, so you have time to keep on top of it and whatnot. There's a better flow, is what I'm getting at. There's another red crystal over here for you to smash up for more red orbs. By the end of this we should have 20,000, looking at how much we got now and what's left of the mission, so we'll have air height by the next mission. I like the statues, by the way, because they're all shaped like chess pieces, those being the pawns that we just destroyed, and we saw there's like a priest one as well. I'll give you any guesses you want for what that one is. But we're seeing all of them as we go in the statue, even the Queen and King. So I always do this when I'm messing with Gunslinger. If I'm at a point where I have to wait, I just dick about with Gunslinger. I do the same with Royal Guard, to be fair. I'll just start tapping it and just making him do little motions and movements. These are another one of the hells. These are the ones that will charge up and then do like a shotgun blast right in front of them. They're probably the easiest to deal with, to be fair, other than the basic hells, just because they charge up their attacks, so you have more than enough time to be prepared for it. And they get stunned easy like all the other hells. You can already see the blue orb fragment from now. You can see it flashing. But there's our fourth one to get our full orb. The only thing to be careful of is to push these enemies too far to the door, because then the hands returning from one will just jump out and grab you. And they've got quite a devastating range on them, to be fair. This is also the last Devil May Cry the hands come out the door. In 4 onwards, as in 4 in the reboot and 5 from what I can see, if you're right next to the wall, no hand will come out and attack you, which I'll miss them, but I get why they were gone. They kept them to make sure you didn't just put yourself in a corner, but there's really no need to in this game onwards because of how much of a stylistic push there is in the game. It felt more like they kept it in this game just for the sake of the homage. But let's get our fragment up here. This one's easy to get. Like I don't think I've ever missed it. Even on my blind playthrough I got it. Also, you probably noticed, but this has been present in every version of the HD, it wasn't formatted to widescreen as well as it should have been, because it's the blue everything we pick up doesn't fade off the box, it just goes whoop, straight off the screen. That big statue there, keep that in mind for much later. But they are important, there's several of them. Any area vertical of exactly where we are, we'll find another statue, so I'll highlight each one we find as we come across, but I think there's a couple I end up missing. Because I don't know where all of them are off the top of my head, but we'll see how it goes. Also, if you're good, you can get across the... If you're good, you can get across that, instead of dropping down here, which you're supposed to, and then get the Cerberus Brewer fragment, because that flame was white, so you have to use Cerberus for it early. There's a whole bunch of enemies down here. On very hard and DMD, this becomes like a fucking hell spawn of a pit to survive. It becomes actually pretty damn difficult to survive in here because of how many different enemies spawn at once. But it's only the enemies we face so far on hard and below. Because hard works off the same enemy spawn as normal. It's only on very hard that they've rearranged the enemies, similar to 1. And I want to say similar to 2, but I honestly can't remember. I think that gives away in itself how little I enjoyed 2. Among the playthrough itself of how little I enjoyed it, because I think that was the most bored I've ever been. And I think this game has the most combat rooms or combat environments of any Devil May Cry game like before it. Now, I don't know about 4 off the top of my head, because I can't really remember. But this game like encourages combat a hell of a lot. But in here we have, it's technically a boss, but I'm counting it as a mini boss because the fight's kind of piss easy. The Gigapede. You don't get a weapon for it, and this is the only cutscene you get for it, just showing it exists. All you're doing is climbing on top of it and whacking it. Every so often, when it does the electric spark thing, it means it's going to spin to get you off it. Every so often as well, it will shoot these purple electric balls at you that you can actually deflect at it. And you'll deflect most of them at it by accident. If you attack the head, you'll do much more damage. So make the most of it. But if you attack the head, it's more likely to shoot the purple orbs. So be ready for them. Every time you hear the scream, it's coming back. But I don't really have a strategy for this fight. Like, just... Like, you see, we're deflecting the purple orbs by accident. And we already nearly massacred this thing. There's nothing much to say about the Gigapede. It's just kind of there. It's a mini-boss that's just there to absorb time. I'd be very surprised if you died to this thing after fighting Cerberus, because the Hell Vanguard, the enemy before at the end of Mission 2, and Cerberus here are far harder than Gigapede. You shouldn't have any trouble with it, in my opinion. If you do, you probably used items to help get yourself through Cerberus anyway, and maybe the whole easy is now selectable is for you. But don't feel bad about it. I'd much rather you get better at the game and enjoy it for what it is in your own way than lose faith because it kicks your ass. But it's nearly dead now. We should probably be able to finish it right now. There we go. Didn't even get a chance to shoot the purple orbs the second time round. On harder difficulties, it will shoot the purple orbs faster at you, making it so you're less likely to deflect every single one at it, and you'll have more health. Also, when it dies, every chunk of it will drop red orbs going along as well. But we have one last cutscene coming up, which introduces another questionable individual to the mix, because there's a lot of characters in this game, to be fair, more than any other Devil May Cry to date at the point of this release.
There's no need to use violence, devil boy. Oh, wait. Better listen to what others say, lad. This tower here is very sturdy. You see? Your tricks will do no good. No good!
Zip it, or I'll pierce that big nose.
That could be a problem. Just hear me out. You've got nothing to lose, right? My name is Jester, and I know a thing or two about this place. That thing there is a power generator for this entire sector. In order to open the door, you'll need to apply a little something to it first. Do you know what that is, kid? Or is that too difficult for you?
Get to the point, or do you want to keep on dancing?
Actually, I prefer a sword to be my partner. May I have this dance, my lady? Bingo! That is what the something is. Remember that, kid. Write it down on your hand if you don't trust your head.
I see. Thanks. You still piss me off, though.
And that's Jester, our introduction to that little maniac that we've, according to him, just let loose by unlocking the secrets of you gotta hit things to unlock things, which is fair enough, I guess. That being said, next time on Devil May Cry 3, we'll continue a progression through the tower and get even more weapons, because we've got a few more guardians on our climb. Oh yeah, we got an S rank. But until then, you guys take care now, and I hope you're still enjoying this wild ride.